I now give the floor to the Minister of Finance, I keep on saying justice, Minister of Finance, to answer the points of clarification/comments to the members of Parliament posed in the first round. Minister, you have the floor.
Madam Chair, honorable members of Parliament, griffier, my support staff, persons in the tribune, citizens tuned in via social media, radio, and under the sound of my voice, good morning and blessed day to all. I am here to address the clarification questions posed on the 6th of September, 2024. Additionally, I would like to inform you that the addendum has been submitted to Parliament for review. This addendum has been agreed upon by the technical team of St. Maarten, Curaçao, and the Central Bank. Some may ask why this document has not yet been signed. The reason is that, unlike previous practices, I believe it is important to obtain Parliament's approval before finalizing the document. While the addendum has not been signed, it has been discussed with the Prime Minister, as both he and I will need to sign it. If you compare this with a legislative trajectory, once a legislation is submitted to Parliament, it can be amended up until the point when Parliament votes on the legislation. This amendment can be on the initiative of government through a so-called nota van wijziging, or on the initiative of Parliament. In this case, based on the feedback from Parliament on the outline agreement, I, as Minister of Finance, took the initiative, resulting in the addendum to the outline agreement as presented during the public meeting of Parliament of September 6, 2024. I believe this addendum is feasible, as on a technical level, there is an agreement between St. Maarten, Curaçao, and the Central Bank on this addendum. If the Parliament of St. Maarten approves the addendum, the government will sign the addendum based on the mandate given by Parliament, which order, in my opinion, is the correct sequence, also taking into consideration the background on how the outline agreement reached Parliament. For our Parliament to function as a rubber stamp, which, in my opinion, does not reflect nor respect the authority of our Parliament. The initial HLA, high-level agreement, was previously approved by the Council of Ministers, and with this addendum, savings and benefits were brought to St. Maarten, amounting to 37 million guilders. The specific savings outlined in the addendum are as follows: 5 million guilders saved by not covering the BES and Suriname, 15 million guilders saved by excluding operational expenses, 14 million guilders saved due to a reduction in expenses, resulting in a positive cash balance at the end, 3 million guilders saved in interest by separating the peak facility and limiting its use. This amounts to a total savings of 37 million guilders for St. Maarten. The addendum has been approved at a technical level, and it is expected that the ministers of Curaçao are aware of this, just as I was kept informed by the St. Maarten technical team. You, as members of Parliament, may ask, since the document is not signed, what is the risk if Curaçao does not sign? The answer is that both St. Maarten and Curaçao would be significantly impacted if we fail to reach an agreement on ENNIA together. Both of our interest rates would increase, affecting 27,000 policyholders in Curaçao and 3,000 plus policyholders in St. Maarten. As the Minister of Finance, I cannot, in good conscience, ask the people of St. Maarten to agree to the previously signed HLA without this addendum, which would have us bear the execution costs of ENNIA as well as cover BES and Suriname policyholders, whose policies are unrelated to the St. Maarten's ENNIA office. Additionally, the inclusion of a peak facility in which additional costs could be imposed on St. Maarten is unacceptable. Lastly, us as St. Maarten not having any benefit when it comes to our prime location, Mullet Bay. Therefore, I am here to request Parliament's approval of the outline agreement inclusive of the addendum. I remain fully committed to acting in the best interests of St. Maarten, and that is what I am also asking of the Parliament.
Minister, we have MP Irion. I'm checking the list if he still has interruption possibilities. You have one interruption left, MP Irion. MP Irion, you have the floor.
You only need one. Madam Chair, I'd like some clarity, Madam Chair, because the Minister mentioned that in the addendum, we are ensuring that we don't cover Suriname and the Best Islands. But in the addendum itself, if you look at the footnote, at footnote number 5 and number 8, it already states that Curaçao in the HLA already was covering Suriname. Why? As I mentioned in the previous meeting, that at some point in time, these individuals lived on Curaçao. So imagine if I live on Curaçao, right, and I move to Japan, I'm not entitled to my pension. That's one. Two, I'm going to set up another discussion. And also, it also mentions that in footnote number 8. So I would like some clarity on that. If the addendum brings that, or that was already agreed to in the HLA.
Thank you, MP. Minister?
Madam Chair, to respond to the MP's question, indeed, in the footnotes, it does include for Curaçao, but what it does not include was that St. Maarten, too, was paying the costs of both the BES and Suriname. And so that is why it was important for the technical team of both St. Maarten, Curaçao, and that of the Central Bank to ensure that we, St. Maarten, do not pay for those from the BES Islands and that of Suriname. And that is why in the addendum, it is clearly stated that we do not pay those costs, only the costs for those of St. Maarten.
Okay, thank you, Minister. You may continue.
I want to be clear. I stand by my position that linking the COVID loans to finding a solution for ENNIA was entirely inappropriate. I will continue to state this fact. However,
Minister, before you continue, I have another MP that would like to make use of her interruption. MP De Wever, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Lady, good morning to everyone. While we were on the topic, what I wanted to make sure that we got clearly was in the minister mentioned that St. Maarten was also responsible for the Suriname portion. That means, was it shared costs then beforehand? Because I didn't get that in the explanation, just to make sure that we finish that point off by deciding, because it's now taken out, giving us a significant saving. So I just want to know if in the old one, that means it was being shared between the two. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, Lady, and thank you, Minister.
Madam Chair, to answer the MP's question, yes, it was indeed a shared cost.
Okay, Minister, you may continue.
Allow me to just restart that. I want to be clear. I stand by my position that linking the COVID loans to finding a solution for ENNIA was entirely inappropriate. I will continue to state this fact. However, last year, October 2023, when the short-term refinancing agreement was signed, these two matters were linked, and as such, St. Maarten has since then been committed to finding a solution for ENNIA or risking higher COVID interest rates. It is still unacceptable that the Netherlands were willing to profit from higher interest rates on pandemic loans that will cost the islands millions to bail out a private entity and continues to disregard the pressing development needs of the islands. At the same time, we are forced to read in the Telegraaf that the Netherlands has just received 1.3 billion euros as a grant from the European Recovery and Resilience Facility to recover from the pandemic, while small island developing states like ours are threatened with higher interest rates on pandemic loans from our own kingdom partner. I must state, however, that the Netherlands agreed to remove the clause preventing discussions on loan forgiveness from the new refinancing agreement following my request. Hopefully, there might still be some hope for us with regard to these pandemic loans. Lastly, I am deeply disappointed in the central bank's lack of proper supervision over ENNIA, which contributed to this situation. Their failure to maintain independence during the negotiations of this agreement is equally troubling. It is unacceptable that Sint Maarten was being asked to shoulder costs for Suriname policyholders, best policyholders, or execution expenses, while knowing that Curaçao and Sint Maarten will not benefit equally from the continuation of ENNIA. This should have never been allowed, but thankfully, reading thoroughly with comprehension intercepted these hidden fees which were purposely placed on Sint Maarten. There are still numerous questions regarding whether the central bank, since taking over the supervision of ENNIA in 2018, has made the best decisions for the entity. This is a serious issue that must be addressed in due course, as their decisions has and will continue to have a direct impact on the financial obligations of the countries involved. Therefore, it is crucial that the central bank itself is properly monitored by the countries on this matter moving forward, and I intend to continue to question them on this matter. I will now continue with the answers to the clarifications. MP Sarah Westcott Williams. Madam Chair, through you. The Minister, throughout her answers and introduction, has mentioned the issue of time constraint and the complexity of the issue at hand. And so I would like to know if there is anywhere in the document, the HLA and or the addendum, that mention is made of the possibility for Sint Maarten, both countries, Curaçao and Sint Maarten, to challenge any legalities that could further jeopardize the financial economic position of Sint Maarten, for example, for a period of 2 years. Is there any way that we can seek to guarantee that if something comes up in the next 2 years that jeopardize the position of Sint Maarten, that it can be inserted? The answer from the central bank: it is not clear to which legalities this question relates, but pursuant to Article 7.4 of the Outline Agreement, the parties will review the duration of the continuing capital contribution 15 years after the implementation date and consult in good faith if necessary for necessary changes. Can we safeguard Sint Maarten from any liabilities litigation that could arise from this three-party agreement? Answer from the central bank.
Minister, before you answer, I have MP Westcott Williams that would like to make use of her interruption.